Hello lawn mowing people. What I'm going to talk about today is the best lawn mowing equipment for your business and how to choose it. Now, choosing the right equipment for your business is absolutely essential, because if you try going out there with equipment that's substandard or not capable of doing the job, then you're going to do a bad job, you're going to lose customers, and your business is not going to grow. So you want to make sure that you go out there with at least gear that's good enough to do a reasonable job and everybody will be happy. So you need to buy the right equipment to start. So when you're looking at mowers, what are you looking for? Now, if you go into a lawn mowing shop and you say to them, hey, I want to start a lawn mowing business, the chances are that they're going to turn around and they're going to say, oh, you want to buy this machine here. They're going to point you to a $2,500 self-propelled 21-inch mower, and they're going to say that will be ideal for you. And the thing is that there's nothing wrong with those mowers. In fact, those mowers are quite good, but you don't need a mower like that to start a lawn mowing business. What I would do is I'd avoid cheap mowers, like mowers that you'll find at the big box shops. You don't want those machines, because if they break down, you're going to be waiting forever to get repairs done, because they don't really have parts for those machines. They're throwaways. I wouldn't buy one of those cheap machines. What I'd do is I'd go to the mower shop and I'd look at the high-end domestic mowers. So I'd be looking to spend maybe $1,000 or somewhere around in that area to get me a mower to start my business. And if you can get a mower that does something like does a good catch, has a mulch plug and can do a mulch, then you're pretty much covered. You can do any kind of job. And do make sure that you're not running a tiny little engine on that mower too. Try and make sure that the engine is a reasonable size. But if you're getting high-end domestic, that shouldn't be a problem anyway. Now, another thing is your weed eater. Now, what kind of weed eater are you going to use? Well, when you go in the shops and you look at weed eaters, they've got everything from those tiny little bent shaft machines to the huge two-handed with a strap commercial looking weed eaters. Now, the weed eater that you want is somewhere in the middle. You don't want a bent shaft machine, because a bent shaft machine, you'll find that when you try and get under trees or try and do those fiddly little edges, you're not going to be able to get there, because your area on a bent shaft machine is about this high. So you can't go any narrower than that. Whereas with a straight shaft, you can go down about this low underneath a tree, and so you can do a lot more. And the other thing is that bent shaft machines are just cheap machines. They're not capable of doing commercial work. You'd be lucky to get a year out of one of those machines at the absolute max, and a lot of them won't even last that long. So what I'd suggest is go to the straight shaft machine. Maybe don't buy the next step up from the bent shaft, but the one after that. So if you're looking at around let's say $600 to $800, will get you a fairly reasonable weed eater, and that will last you for a good couple of years. So that's the kind of machine that you want. The other reason that you do want this kind of machine is because if you're doing a reclaim, then if you have a smaller machine, it's going to struggle with the edges. It's going to struggle bringing all that long grass down. And the thing is that when you're starting off a business, you tend to get a lot of these reclaim jobs and these overgrown lawns. So you really want to be able to accept that kind of work in the early days. And so you want a machine that's capable of handling it. Now, as far as a blower goes, they're really a no-brainer. I mean, you can pick up a machine for $500 or $600 and they'll go forever and a day. Just make sure that you get a blower from a lawn mowing shop, not from a big box shop, because again, you're going to have problems if you do that if the machine breaks down. So just get your standard blower. There's nothing special, and these machines last forever. I mean, I've got a blower in the garage that I bought in 2011, and it still runs. I don't use it anymore because new machines are about half the weight, but there's nothing wrong with the machine. It still runs. So these machines just last forever and a day. They hardly ever break down. Now, how are you going to get to the lawns? If you've got a car or a sedan or something that you're using, for the family wagon, then you could get yourself a trailer, and all you really need is a tow bar. And so the trailer is about the easiest entry level, and you could probably pick one of them up for about $1,500. And if you got a tow bar, you're ready to go, and you can just tow it around. And the good thing about these little trailers is they're quite easy to turn around. They're quite easy to maneuver. So that's a good place to start. If you were going to get a larger trailer, the problem with the trailers with a trailer for ride-ons and things like that is that then you're moving into a double axle trailer, and a double axle trailer requires braking, and they're also harder to maneuver in reverse. There's a lot less spaces you can get into. So I'd suggest when you're starting off, get a small trailer, get small machines, and that way you can just go out and you can get into all of those smaller jobs, because that's where the money is at the end of the day. And as far as a vehicle goes, use your own vehicle is the cheapest way to do it. If you haven't got a tow bar, get one fitted. If you're going to buy a vehicle for the job, then what I'd suggest is that you buy a van, because if you buy something like a truck with an open back, then you're going to have to worry about securing your gear. But if you get a van, then you're going to be able to lock your gear up. The only drawback with a van, of course, is it's a lot harder to get clippings in there. So what we normally do is we buy wheel bales. If you buy, let's say you buy about 15 wheel bales when you start your business, then you'll just be able to tip your catcher loads into your wheel bales and stack them in the back of your van. That's basically all I've got to say about a vehicle. I mean, you can move on to bigger and better things later on, but I actually find that we run vans at the moment, and we have no problems at all with them. We fit everything in there. We fit all the gear in there, and the only real drawback with a van is that if you're looking at doing tree work or hedges or anything like that, or rubbish removal, then that makes it a little bit more difficult, because unless you've got a tow bar on your van and a trailer, you won't be able to accept that kind of work. It's just too hard trying to get it into a van. So that's the only drawback with it. So that's basically what I'd use to start a business and to run a business. Of course, you can go bigger and better later on, but that's my basic start-off list, and I hope that helps. And so get out there, mow lawns, have fun, and happy lawn mowing, people.